We are so pleased to have with us today Bob Wright. Now, Bob is the Director of Education at Hilton Head Health, and tell us a little bit about some of the topics you focus on at Hilton Head Health.
Well, Hilton Head Health is a health and weight loss resort. We've been there for over 40 years, and so people come and stay with us, and the primary interest that most people have is weight management. And so, as a health educator, I'm talking about issues related to that, whether it's nutrition. Sometimes it's some of the issues that might be challenging, like eating in restaurants, and or the importance of sleep to maintain energy, to be able to do the things that they came there to do, as well as some risk-related things, so heart disease and things like that. So a wide variety of health topics.
And we want to talk about some of those risk things today. I know the American Cancer Society talks about how excess weight seems to have a link to cancer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just a couple weeks ago, Centers for Disease Control released a report that found that not only does weight have a link, it actually has a very powerful link. And in fact, they said that of all the cancers that are diagnosed in the United States, that 40% of them might have a a weight connection. Wow. So that's pretty powerful. There's another organization called the American Institute for Cancer Research, and they say that about 20% of cancer deaths might be directly related to weight. So it's a powerful influence. And the thing that's important for people to recognize is that often people feel like cancer is one of those diseases they don't have as much to control over. Often it's things like maybe even nuclear power or industrial pollution. They think, well, these are things that I can't control. But the reality is that after not smoking, weight is the #1 influence on cancer risk. So if we can keep our weights under control, it has an awful lot to do with keeping our cancer risk under control as well.
So how does that weight affect your risk for cancer?
It actually affects our risk for cancer for a variety of ways. One way is that it contributes to something called chronic systemic inflammation. And inflammation is something at that level over a long period of time can contribute to a variety of diseases, including heart disease, diabetes, and some forms of cancer. The other way that it can happen is that body fat is actually an organ, and it produces hormones. And one of the hormones that it produces is estrogen. And so there is a known relationship between postmenopausal breast cancer and excess body fat. Those who are overweight also tend to produce or have higher levels of insulin and another hormone-like substance called insulin-like growth factor 1. And those things have been associated with increasing cell growth and speed of cell growth, which can lead to some cancers.
But don't most people just think they're going to be genetically predisposed to cancer?
Absolutely. And it is important to acknowledge that genetics can play a role. For example, the BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene certainly can be a direct contributor to breast cancer. And so I don't want to minimize that. You might hear that it only plays a role in 5 to 10%, but for the people who have it, it's not only. For them, it matters. So I don't want to minimize that, but compared to other things, compared to other some lifestyle factors like weight, our quality of our diet, whether or not we exercise regularly, it really doesn't have as big of an impact as most people would believe.
Now, let's say, how much weight do I need to lose to have an effect?
That's a great question, because often when people are thinking about weight loss, they think about what do I have to do to get down to the ideal? And sometimes that can seem overwhelming. Now, the evidence isn't quite as strong with cancer as is with heart disease and diabetes, but it appears to be in the same neighborhood, and that is that as little as 3 to 5% can make a difference.
Wow.
And so to put that in some numbers, if somebody weighed 200 pounds, that could be as little as 6 pounds.
Wow.
And so it's not like you have to get down to an ideal weight before you begin to make a difference.
Wow, that's good. A little bit will certainly go a long way.
Absolutely.
And I know that we've talked about this too, that there's no special way you have to go about it. You just have to lose weight in a healthy and responsible way.
That's exactly it. There's no particular diet, there's no particular exercise plan. You want to do it, you just said it, in a healthy, responsible, sustainable way. That means losing it relatively slowly, eating a healthy, balanced, I think the evidence suggests a plant-focused diet. So, not that it needs to be vegan necessarily, but lots of fruits and vegetables, more colors are better, whole grains, legumes, and then animal products on the side. And then the other area that's really critically important is being physically active. It carries its own impact on cancer risk. and it certainly makes a contribution to helping us lose weight healthfully and keep it off.
Well, that's certainly a lot to think about. Now, if you have questions for Hilton Head Health about weight management, go to WSAV.com, click on Coastal Experts, and submit your questions for Hilton Head Health or any of our experts. Thank you for joining us today on Coastal Experts.